So this morning, we'll be opening our minds and hearts to processing some of the loss that we've all endured from being on lockdown for just about 11 months now. And just gently opening our hearts to some of the loss that we've experienced and grief that might be moving through our minds and bodies and hearts. And the beauty of this practice is that if we can allow ourselves to touch into the discomfort of some of that grief and loss, it actually frees up energy that we've often unknowingly been using trying to keep that grief at bay. So there's a flow of grief, a wave of grief and loss. And then there's parts of us that try to stop that flow, understandably, because it's uncomfortable and unpleasant. And so we want to thank these parts of ourselves for coming in to protect us from the discomfort of that pang of grief, and thank them with reverence and respect and a deep bow. And we can also communicate to these parts of us that want to protect us from the grief that we can be with this grief. We can be with it even just a little bit, even just for a moment. It won't destroy us. And if we can, in that brief moment, relax or soften that protection of those unpleasant feelings, there can be a freedom of flow, no longer imprisoned by the feelings that are there. An increased sense of flow and even opening to deeper states of joy again. Because if we stop the flow of grief, we're also stopping the flow of all of our feelings, including joy and delight. So today we can just begin to go inside, maybe closing the eyes or casting the eyes downward slightly. And as we journey inward, see if we can bring with us a spirit of care and kindness for whatever we discover inside, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, whether it's a thought, an image, a sensation, or emotions. Just bringing with us a spirit of care and kindness. And just allowing ourselves to call out in particular to any aspect of our experience that might have some grief, longing, or loss. Collectively, all of us have felt the loss of the freedom of our prior life pre-COVID. And for many of us mothers, especially full-time mothers, the loss of autonomy in the house. Freedom to move into a room without bumping into people. People demanding something from us. And for those mothers who have children out of the house, the loss of being able to visit them or hold them or hug them easily. And the loss of that physical tribe around us. Hugs and handshakes and warm smiles without a mask. So just allowing ourselves to be with or invite forward any of those parts of us that are feeling that pandemic loss, the loss of our prior lives pre-pandemic. As well as any of you who have lost someone during this time, or even before the pandemic. And see if you can just send a message of care and compassion to those parts of you who've experienced this loss. And if it's challenging to send care or compassion, if there's a sense of fear or dread or panic, See if you can just turn towards that fear or dread or panic instead and shine love on that experience. Shine love on that part. And see if you can be with these parts of you, whether it's the one that's grieving or the one that's afraid or panicked around the grief. See if you can be with these parts in just the way that they need you to be right now. Go ahead inside and sense how you can be there for these parts of you in just the way they need you to be right now. Not fixing, not changing, not much doing, just being how they need you to be with them right now. Do they want you to hold or rock them? Do they want you to hold their hand or sit beside them or in front of them? Do they want you to walk alongside them? Sensing inwardly how this one within you would like you to be with it right now, and being with that one within you in just the right way. Shining love, shining care, not much doing, a lot of being. Being with. Maybe considering saying or communicating to the one that's grieving or the one that's panicked around the grief, I'm right here with you. It's okay to be sad, or it's okay to be scared about the sadness. I'm right here with you. And I care about you. And just notice how that one within you responds. How that one within you responds to your care and your connected presence. And see if you might invite in a warm, loving presence around you or beyond you. It could be some aspect of nature that holds you. It could be an animal that's passed on, like a pet, or an animal guide. It could be an ancestor or a religious or spiritual figure. So just take a moment to invite in a wise, loving presence to be with you as you're holding, turning towards the one who's scared inside or the one who's grieving inside. And just see if you can notice how it feels to have that wise, loving presence there with you as you are with the one who's grieving or the one who's panicked around the grieving. Just notice how that feels to have this wise, loving presence there with you. And see if you might ask this wise, loving presence if it has any message for you as you're with the one who's grieving or the one who's panicked around the grieving. And then just wait in the silence and trust whatever comes. It's okay if nothing comes. Just asking, is there any message for me as I turn towards this grief inside me and or the panic around the grief inside me? Do you have any message for me? And just wait and listen. And if you are receiving a message, just let yourself receive that message again and again. And notice any impact or effect that this message has on your system. Scanning for benefits. And just immersing yourself in those benefits and the beneficial effect of the message from this wise, loving presence. And you can just take a moment to bring this to closure for now. Letting the one who's grieving or the one who's panicked around the grief know that you'll come to visit. That you care and you'll continue this connection, if that's true for you. And finding your own way to bring this to closure with this wise, loving presence. Knowing that this relationship will continue on. Yes, and then you can begin to bring the attention to the breath more fully. Beginning to deepen the breath, feeling free to bring right hand to belly, left hand to heart. And exhale fully. Press the belly in, exiting the air out through the nostrils. Inhale, slowly expanding belly, rib cage, collarbones rise. And exhale, collarbones lower, chest lowers, belly deflates. Good. Inhaling slowly, engaging Mula Bandha root lock by drawing the muscles of the perineum up and in and lifting the pelvic floor. On the exhalation, slowly releasing those muscles. And lowering the pelvic floor down like an elevator, going down 3 or 4 flights. On the in-breath, you can name rising. And on the exhalation, you can name falling. Seeing if the exhalation might be longer than the in-breath, even twice as long. Continuing at your own pace. Riding the wave of the breath, the coming and the going. What arises eventually ceases to be. The breath comes in and the breath goes out. Just rising, falling with each breath. Sensing this intimate rhythm of nature within you. Good, and after the next long, slow exhalation, you can return the breath back to normal. And feeling free to bring the hands together in front of the heart or palms on the heart. And humbly bowing the head down to the openness of the heart. And just take a moment to acknowledge and to celebrate that divine spark of life and light that rests deep, deep within you. And take a moment to acknowledge and to celebrate that divine spark of life and light that rests within your children. See that light within them and bow to it. Pardon. And take a moment to acknowledge and to celebrate that divine spark of life and light that rests within all beings everywhere, without exception. No matter how clouded in darkness or ignorance or protection or despair, that light is still there within. Good. Gently bring the head back to center, slowly opening the eyes, and rotate the palms up, bring the arms back behind you. Then you can rotate the palms down and towards each other, interlace the fingers, squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other, lifting the head, neck, and chest, arching up and back. And just take a few moments to breathe open the front of the heart, the light side of the heart. Breathing into delight and joy and love and closeness and connection. The pleasant emotions. Take a nice deep breath in. Yes, and exhale, round the back, tuck the head a little bit. Interlock the thumbs, dive the arms forward, fanning the elbows out to the sides and up, shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears a little bit, opening the wings of the shoulder blades and opening the curtains of the back of the heart. And today, just opening to any grief that might be there, sense of loss of freedom or autonomy with this pandemic. And any losses you've endured recently. Just opening even just a little tiny bit. We don't have to open all the way, and we don't have to open at all. What's in the way is the way. So if there's any block to feeling that grief, trust that and just be with that. If there's numbness, just be with that. If there's like a panicky feeling there, just be with that. No need to push past it. So from here, swim the arms back behind you, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, lift the head, neck, and chest. Inhale here, opening to the light side of the heart. And exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, interlock the thumbs, bowing down to the grief, the sadness, the longing. Inhale, swim the arms back behind you, opening to the connection and love and delight. And exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, bowing down to the sadness, grief, or longing. And continue at your own slow breathing pace. Rising on the in-breath, falling on the out-breath. Opening to the pleasant emotional experiences on the in-breath. And bowing humbly down to the unpleasant emotional experiences. Honoring them is just as important and vital to our health and wellness as the pleasant ones. Like different colors of the rainbow. The red and orange and yellow is no better than the green and purple and blue. Just different waveforms. Just different wavelengths. Just different energy moving through. And after the next full round, you can pause. And we can come onto the mat, rolling onto the hands and knees. And you can have the hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, and then walk the hands forward and enter two. Lifting head, neck, and chest, swinging the tip of the tailbone up. Press the hands down into the earth and towards the knees isometrically to increase openness through the abdomen. Good, and take a nice deep breath in, opening the front of the heart, the light side of the heart. And exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. Bowing the head down, opening the back of the heart. Inhale, lifting head, neck, and chest, opening the light side of the heart. And exhale, press the hands down and forward as you open the shadow side of the heart, where we tend to cast into darkness those feelings we tend not to want to feel so much. And continue at your own slow breathing pace, just weaving the heart back into wholeness. With each breath. Continuing at your own pace as we cultivate eudaimonic well-being as opposed to hedonic well-being. Hedonic well-being is based on certain conditions being in place. We're in our favorite place with a whole bunch of our favorite people, sipping our favorite drink with our favorite weather. That's hedonic well-being. Eudaimonic well-being affords us the capacity to experience a sense of wellness and fulfillment even when all those conditions aren't met, even when we're grieving. So after the next full round, you can lower the buttocks towards the heels, forehead towards the earth, extend the arms forward and just nestle in, softening down. Just meeting up with the next layer of your experience that's calling for your attention around this. And just feel inside what the next layer is. Maybe it's a little bit of fear around how much grief is there. Just be with the fear, not the big grief, just the fear. It's okay to be scared. We won't go into the fear just yet. I'll be right with you. We won't have to go into all of that grief just yet. I'll be right with you, fear. Or maybe there's a sadness that's there or a longing that's there. You can just let it know I'm right here with you. It's okay to feel the way you're feeling. I'm right here with you and I care. Take a nice deep breath into whatever is there, brushing it gently with your compassionate breath of awareness. Allow for a long, slow exhalation. Good. Extend the arms forward, shift the weight into the hands, coming up onto all fours. And then melt the hips forward, lifting head, neck, and chest. Draw shoulders back and down, opening the heart. You can even rotate the eyes of the elbows forward a little bit, bending the elbows slightly. Some of you might lift the knees up off the floor, engaging the kneecaps, engaging the quadriceps to draw up the kneecaps. Or you can lower the knees back down. See what serves you. Take a nice deep breath into the front of the heart, opening to the light side of the heart. And exhale, press back into child's pose. Or if you want something more active, curl the toes under, lift the hips high for downward facing dog. And just take a moment to bow down to the shadow side of the heart. Just sending caring attention to
to any unpleasant feeling that might be there that's needing some loving care. That's just needing to be seen, heard, and understood. Good. And with a breath, inhale, come forward and up towards upward dog. Yes, and exhale, press back into child's pose or downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward and up towards upward dog, rising. Exhale, press back, falling. And continue at your own slow breathing pace. Rising and falling. Good. After the next full round, you can pause. And just resting into child's pose. Jogo back writes, "We have to face the pain we've been running from. In fact, we need to rest in it and let its searing power transform us." We must face the pain we've been running from. In fact, we need to rest in it and let its searing power transform us. And there's so much wisdom in this, and yet we don't want to push ourselves into that until we feel ready. So if there's something there blocking us from the pain, from the grief, from the longing, we can just be with that, whatever it is that's blocking us, and send caring attention towards it. What's in the way is the way. Take a nice deep breath in. And slowly exhale. And then you can bring the arms alongside the legs, lift the torso up, lifting the body all the way up to standing. Good, standing near the front of the mat, that's it. And really plugging in, especially when we move through periods of grief. If we're actively grieving especially, it helps to feel ourselves connected to something so much greater than our small selves. Of course, communities of people can be helpful. As Allison says, hugs that can help hug our pieces back together can be helpful. And also connecting with nature can be helpful. So plug into Mother Earth beneath you. Send some roots deep down into her soft soil, sensing that intimate connection with her. And then draw some of her energy, life force, prana up into our prana vayus, those channels of energy. Drawing it up and in. Giving ourselves that benefit of connection with something greater than our small selves. And energy for the grieving process. Unite the palms together in front of the heart. And rest the thumbs on the heart, acknowledging the power of the heart and the heart's resilience. You are here because you have made it through loss. You've made it through many, many losses, and you've survived them. So just take a moment with your thumbs resting on your sternum to acknowledge the heart's strength and the power of its vulnerability. And then extend the arms forward and up and back, pressing the feet down into the earth intimately as we lift the heart up, opening it, feeling its spaciousness, deeply rooted in the earth and vastly open to the sky. Feet down, deep into the dark soil, and opening to the light around us and above us. So take a nice deep breath in, opening to the light side of the heart. And exhale, bow down humbly to the dark. Bowing down to the grief or longing. And just sending care there. If you've lost a sister, sending love and care to the sister within you. If you've lost a parent, sending care to the daughter within you. I see you. If you've lost a friend, sending loving care to the one within you who was that friend to her. I know you lost your friend, and I'm right here with you. Allowing our deep, wise, loving self, our capital S self, to come towards the one within us who is grieving with loving care. And just feel the benefit of that. Receive the benefit of that. Bowing down to the power of that. Take a nice deep breath in. A long, slow exhalation. Bend the knees, fingertips in line with the toes. Step the left foot far back. Left knee raised. An upward lunge, or you can lower the knee down. Lifting head, neck, and chest, opening the heart courageously. When we have been hurt by the pang of loss, our hearts naturally want to constrict and tighten and close like a flower that closes with the setting sun. And it's okay that that protection comes in. It's human nature to want to protect ourselves from the pain of loss. And yet Joyce and Barry Vissel say the highest commitment one can make is to never allow the heart to permanently close. The highest commitment one can make is to not allow the heart to permanently close. So in that is the suggestion that our hearts will close off. It happens. It's okay. We want to protect ourselves. And we come back to our commitment to open the heart to love again and again and again. So lift the heart up and open. See if you might tap into that high commitment, that highest commitment, to not allow your heart to permanently close. Take a deep breath in. Yes, and exhale, step the right foot back, downward dog, plank pose, all fours, whatever feels best for you. And just bow down, thanking the systems within you for trying to protect you from pain, from the pang of loss, honoring them like we honor veterans that come home after protecting our country in a war, thanking our internal protectors for their service, and they have good intentions for us. And also letting them know that we, our deep, wise, loving self, can be there with that pain, that grief, that longing, directly. And in doing so, we bring a deeper healing to it than our protectors can. So just send that message to your protective system and just notice how it responds. Notice how you feel called to respond to that. And from here we can come forward and up, either knees, chest, and chin, or slithering forward. Coming into Cobra or Upward Dog, your choice. If you're in Cobra, you can press the hands down into the earth and back towards the feet. This can help lift through the center of the chest, tucking the chin slightly, lifting the back of the head up. And then we're going to ride the wave of the breath. So inhale, rising, lifting a little bit. Exhale, falling, lowering down a little bit. And as you lower down, you can press the hands down and forward instead of down and back. Inhale, rising, press the hands down and back. Exhale, falling, press the hands down and forward. And continue at your own slow breathing pace. Good. And after the next full round, you can pause. Press the hands down, lift the hips up high. Downward facing dog. Just noticing what's arising in the system now, what thought, what image, sensation or emotion. And just practice shining care, just sending loving presence to it. It's just the next layer that's bubbling up for healing and integration. And you can look between your hands and step the left foot forward between the hands, right knee raised or lowered, lifting head, neck, and chest. And tapping into the courage that's there, deep, deep within you. The courage to turn towards and be with the 10,000 joys and the 10,000 sorrows of our lives. As the Buddha said, life is suffering. And he found the courage to leave the comforts of his palace, where he was protected from even knowing about illness and death and old age. And he walked into the streets and wanted to see and understand sickness and death and old age. That's the courage to turn towards and be with it all. To just humbly bow the head down, honoring the good intentions of his parents to protect him from those things. We can see those protectors, like his parents, wanting to wall him off from the challenges of life. And then we can once again lift our head, neck, and chest, opening our hearts to the courage of the Buddha, the wise ones that have the courage to turn towards and be with the realities of life and suffering. To go into the streets untouched, the 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows. So take a nice deep breath in, inspired by that courage that's within us as well. And exhale, step the back foot forward to meet the front foot, bowing the head down. And just notice what's surfacing now. And shine some loving attention on that. Good. Extend the arms forward, lengthening through the legs, lifting the torso up, lifting the arms up.
arching back. Leaning into the toes, hips come forward, lifting up and out of the low back, spreading the arms wide, opening your heart. Plugging into the earth through the feet, opening to the vast sky through the heart. The openness of the sky, a reflection of the openness of your own dear heart and its spaciousness. Take a nice deep breath into that spaciousness of heart. Yes, and exhale, palms together, thumbs resting on the heart center. And with the breath, exhale fully. Inhale, arms forward, up and back, rising. Yes, and exhale, bow down, falling. Inhale, right foot back, rising, tuning into the rhythm of nature. Exhale, left foot back, falling. Inhale comes forward and up with rising. Exhale, downward dog, falling. Inhale, right foot forward, rising. Exhale, left foot forward, falling. Inhale, arms up and back with rising. Exhale, palms to the heart. Inhale, arms forward, up and back with rising. Yes, exhale, bow down, good, falling. Inhale, left foot back with rising, opening the front of the heart. Exhale, right foot back, falling, opening to the back of the heart. Inhale, come forward and up with rising. Exhale, downward dog, falling. Inhale, left foot forward, rising. Exhale, right foot forward, falling. Inhale, arms forward, up and back with rising. Yes, and exhale, palms to the heart. Inhale, arms forward, up and back with rising. Exhale, bow down, falling. Inhale, right foot back with rising, feeling the rhythm of it. Exhale, left foot back with falling. Inhale, come forward and up with rising. Good. And exhale, downward dog, falling. Inhale, right foot forward, rising. Exhale, left foot forward, falling. Inhale, arms forward, up and back with rising. Exhale, palms to the heart, and pause here for a few breaths. Just integrating. And just take a moment to notice what's bubbling up for you to be present with, even if it's spaciousness. Good. Exhale fully. Inhale the arms forward, up and back, rising. And exhale, bow down, falling. And just pause here for a few breaths. Allowing the breath to be our teacher about the impermanence of life, and all that arises eventually ceases to be. Even those deep swells of grief that move through, they'll rise as we lose someone we love, and they will move through and move on. A new one will probably come.
So bring the hands to the shins, lifting the torso up halfway, like we're lifting our head above the ocean. Get a nice deep breath of air. And a big wave comes and we go down. So we're going to lower down, going down, diving beneath the wave. Bowing down, sliding the hands down, our legs a little bit. And then the wave passes and we'll bring the hands to the shins, lifting the torso up, coming up for air, moving towards the sunlight. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, bowing down, diving beneath the wave that's coming. Just surrendering to it. Going into the darkness. And continue inhaling, rising, coming up for air after the wave passes. Falling, bowing down, diving into the dark. Just a few more rounds at your own pace. Just feeling the rhythm of it. Grief tends to come in waves. And we can learn to ride them. Good. After the next full round, you can pause. Fingertips in line with the toes. Step the left foot far back. Lifting head, neck, and chest. And we're going to bring the right arm to the inside of the right leg. Walk the right foot out to the right a little bit. And the right foot can be forward or it can point out to the right slightly. It's your choice, your comfort. And then we're going to lower the hands. We're going to slide the hands forward, lowering the elbows down a little bit. Maybe the left elbow will come down, maybe not. The right elbow might hang out in the air or it might lower down. No forcing, no straining, just see what's possible. We're just inviting that left hip into a deep, deep stretch. So just see what's possible. You can let the right knee fan out to the right a little bit if you'd like. And just breathing, just being with what's there. Just tapping into that courage inside to turn towards and be with what's there. Ajahn Chah says, to run away from suffering is actually to run towards it. To run away from suffering is actually to run towards it. And yet, it's human nature to want to brace ourselves against pain and suffering. So we can acknowledge that human nature, we can appreciate its protective intentions, and we can let it know that it is possible for us to be with the suffering directly. Take a nice deep breath in, a long, slow exhalation, and walk the hands back. You can walk the right foot towards the left a little bit again, right hand on the outside of the right foot. And we're just going to move the hips back, just releasing that deep, deep stretch we were just in. So move the hips back, and then the right foot can lift a little bit. The right toes lift, the heel stays down. Melting the belly towards the thigh, chest towards the knee, head towards the toes. Just bowing down. And we're going to rock. So rock the hips forward. Maybe lift the left foot up, stretching the left hip flexor and quadricep. Lift the heart. And then rock the hips back, straightening the right leg a little bit, lifting the right toes, bowing the head down. The leg doesn't have to be straight. We're just moving it towards straight.
So inhale, rock forward, lift the left foot if you'd like, rising. Exhale, rock back, bow the head, lift the right toes, falling. And continue at your own slow breathing pace, just a few more rounds. In the next round, you might engage Mula Bandha, root lock, lifting the pelvic floor up on the in-breath and releasing it slowly on the out-breath. And after the next, rocking forward, you can pause there in lunge pose. Lifting the chest, take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, right foot back, downward dog, plank, or all fours. And just take a few breaths there. Just integrating, just noticing what's surfacing for your awareness. As Ajahn Chah encourages, we can practice including that, whatever's surfacing. This too I include. Good, and then from here we can come forward and up into cobra or upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward between the hands. And eventually lowering the right knee down, lifting the head, neck, and chest. We're going to bring the left arm to the inside of the left leg and walk the left foot out an inch or two. Toes can be forward or point out to the side a little bit. It's your choice, your comfort. Some of us will stay here. Others of us will walk the hands forward and begin to lower the right elbow down slowly. It might hover, that's perfectly fine. Some of you might lower it all the way down. And then you can explore lowering the left elbow down or not. No forcing, just staying curious. And this side might be different than the other side. I'm noticing that this side, my elbows don't want to be down on the ground like they did the other side. So just tune in to your body. There doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason for its cues to us. We're just listening to it and honoring its cues. Just taking a few moments to be with the sensations that are arising, probably a little unpleasant. Just finding your courage to turn towards and be with those sensations. If there's an electrical like zing that's happening or a cramping that's happening, then that's a good sign to come out of the pose and make an adjustment for yourself. Otherwise, if it's a deep ache, you can practice turning towards and being with it. Take a nice deep breath in. Long, slow exhalation. Good. And then gently walk the left foot inwardly a little bit towards center. Bring the left arm to the outside of the left foot. And then rock the hips back gently, releasing that deep stretch. Lifting the left toes, straightening the left leg a little bit. It doesn't have to become all the way straight. Mine isn't. My knee is a little bit bent. And then we're going to melt the belly towards the thigh, chest towards the knee, head towards the toes. Good. And then we're going to rock the hips forward, lifting head, neck, and chest, lifting the right foot. Maybe engage Mula Bandha, root lock here. Inhale, rising. Exhale, rocking back, falling, releasing Mula Bandha. Inhale, rocking forward, rising. Exhale, rocking back, falling. And continue at your own slow breathing pace.
After the next full round, you can pause. Lifting head, neck, and chest. Tapping into the courage of your heart. Take a deep breath in and exhale, right foot forward to meet the left. Pause here for a few breaths. And we're going to bend the knees and roll the back up, vertebra by vertebra, part by part. We're going to bring the hands onto the low back, palms on the back with fingertips down. Squeeze the elbows towards each other. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Lean into the toes. Press the pubic bone forward. Lift up and out of the low back. Supported back bend. Supported upward salute. And just take a few deep breaths. Opening the spaciousness of your heart to the spaciousness of the sky above you. Feeling deeply connected through your feet to Mother Earth, connected to the earth and open to the vast sky at the same time. Take a nice deep breath in, maybe bend the knees a little bit, arching back a little more. And exhale, palms to the heart, close the eyes, and just integrate for a few breaths. And just send a message of care to any parts that are in need of that loving presence from you right now. And just notice how that feels, how your system responds to that loving message from your deep, wise, loving self. Good, and then you can gently release the arms, softly open the eyes, sustaining that thread of connection with your inner life. And you can lay down onto the back, lying down for a moment's rest. Actively relaxing, actively releasing, actively letting go of tension. Good. Take a deep breath in, feel the belly rise. And exhale, feel the belly fall. Good, and then you can bend the knees, soles of the feet onto the earth, feet about hip width apart and parallel, heels beneath the knees. Press the feet down and lift the hips high. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. And some of you will stay here. Others of you might interlace the fingers or rotate palms down onto the floor. And still others might slide the hands under the low back, near the hips, like a prop to lift the hips up. So see what feels best for your body today. And press the heels down to lift the hips up, opening the heart to its wholeness. Lifting your whole heart up to the light of day. Take a deep, rich breath into your whole heart.
And exhale, lift the heels up and roll the back down vertebra by vertebra, part by part. And then hug the knees into the chest and rock. Good. And we can roll all the way over onto the side and just pause on the side for a moment's rest, curling up sweetly with yourself. And then press the hands into the earth, lifting the torso up. Extending the legs out in front for Paschimottanasana. Hands can start on the thighs, shoulders back and down, rocking the front of the hips forward. The top of the pelvic bowl rocks forward. This might bend the knees a little bit, perfectly fine. More helpful to have the knees bent and the hips rocked forward a little bit than the legs straight and the hips rocking back. So rocking hips forward, feel free to bend the knees. Shoulders back and down, inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, tip the pelvic bowl forward. That movement more important than where the hands go. And then after that, you can begin to slide the hands forward. And just finding a comfortable place for them to land, wherever that might be. Allowing yourself to tune in and be with what's emerging. Trauma therapist Peter Levine, who's been studying trauma and working with trauma survivors for a few decades now, writes, "Because we've experienced intolerable sensations and feelings in the past, our tendency is to actively avoid them. Mentally, we split off or dissociate these feelings. Physically, our bodies tighten and brace against them. We seem to live under the assumption that if we allow ourselves to feel these feelings and sensations, they'll overwhelm us forever. Then, in an attempt to manage them, we tend to rely on food, drugs, medications, and alcohol in an attempt to manage them and make these feelings go away. We've lost the confidence that we can learn to tolerate them without outside help. The fear of being consumed by these overwhelming feelings leads us to believe that only not feeling them will make them go away. This assumption simply is not true. Fighting against or hiding from unpleasant or painful sensations and feelings will generally make things worse. The more they are avoided, the more energy is spent keeping them at bay. Energy that should have been used for feeling alive and open to new experiences. What is not felt remains unchanged or gains an inward pressure. What is not felt remains unchanged or gains an inward pressure. This forces people to step up their methods of avoidance and defense. And this is the sort of vicious cycle that trauma creates. Abandoned feelings call out for attention. Our abandoned feelings call out for attention. So just take a moment, just a few more moments in this pose, to see if there's any feelings there that are calling out for your attention. See if you can shine love on them. And if fear of those feelings arises, just shine love on that fear instead. I care about you. I'm right here for you. Take a nice deep breath in, noticing the benefit of shining love on those feelings. A long, slow exhalation, immersing yourself in those benefits. And lift the torso up, lifting the arms up. Plug down through the sits bones into the earth, feeling rooted and connected with great Mother Earth. And then open your arms and heart to support from around you and beyond you, higher self, higher power, some aspect of Mother Nature that holds you, wise, loving presence, God, Goddess, whatever it is you call to and know, the force of creation. Just calling for some support and resource for you to turn towards and be with the waves of grief that come through. Take a nice deep breath in, plugging into those resources. And exhale, lean back, spread your arms wide, and send some caring prayers and wishes to the other women in the circle, that they may feel supported as those big waves of grief move through, because they will. They eventually will. So just scanning your eyes, seeing the other women in our circle, sharing, caring support for you as your big waves of grief roll through. Good. And then receive that caring attention and support as you slowly lower back down. Hugging the knees into the chest and rocking. And we'll feel waves of grief as we watch our children grieving their endings of friendships as they lose friends and find new groups again to be with, as they move through their first love and have their heart broken. We'll feel these waves of grief. May we turn towards and be with what's happening inside of us, so we can bring a more centered, calm attention to our children as they move through what they're moving through, without trying to fix everything for them. Bringing our capacity to be with them in their discomfort, wholeheartedly present. I'll bring the arms out to the sides. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the right, head rolls heavy on the floor to the left. Inhale, rising, opening to the pleasantness of our children's experiences. Exhale, falling, knees to the left, head to the right, acknowledging the unpleasant experiences our children will feel. Inhale, rising, opening our hearts to the pleasant experiences our children will move through. Exhale, falling to the right, opening to the unpleasant experiences our children will move through. And continue. Just weaving a thread of wholeness as we move, as we breathe, opening to the 10,000 joys, opening to the 10,000 sorrows that we feel, that our children feel. And if it feels like too much at any point, you can take a little break. You can distract yourself. Just focus on the breath. Or some beautiful aspect of nature. Resourcing ourselves is wise, especially when we feel overwhelmed. After the next full round, you can pause, And then you can recline either just flat on the back, or you can roll a pillow or blanket underneath your knees. Some of you yogis might want to move into legs up the wall pose here, swinging the legs up the wall and enjoying our final relaxation in that position. Some of you might want to get a warm blanket, socks. Just really creating a nice cozy space for yourself, really a nice nurturing environment for yourself. We have that maternal energy that likes to nurture our children, and we can tap into that nurturing energy for ourselves as well. Good. Take a nice deep breath in, scrunch up the face, make fists with the hands, point the toes, lift the arms and legs a little bit. Ah, good. Relaxing the body down. Deep breath in, open the mouth, stick out the tongue, stretching the jaw, open the eyes, play fingers, stretch toes. Ah, good. Close the eyes, close the mouth. Yeah, and allow the entire body to be deeply, deeply relaxed. And begin to visualize or sense or feel a beautiful light surrounding the body in all directions. Beautiful, warm, healing light. Just be a witness to this light that's there around you, within you. It's a part of you. Bring the awareness to the light that rests near the soles of the feet, and invite this light into the feet, feeling the ankles relax. The calves and shins are softened and soothed. This light moves up into the knees, creating warmth and space there. This light shines into the legs, pouring into the hips, shining into the pelvic bowl, pouring into the reproductive organs, harmonizing, balancing them. Visualize radiant, healing light in the darkness of the womb. This light shines into the digestive organs, cleansing, purifying them. This beautiful light shines into the chest, pouring infinitely into the heart. Visualize the heart radiating the infinite glow of loving kindness in all directions, including towards your own dear self. Particularly towards yourself. Yes, feel the loving light from your own dear heart shining itself on you. And bring the awareness to the light that rests near the very base of the spine. And invite this light up the spine, vertebra by vertebra, part by part. And feel the entire back growing warm and relaxed and healed by this light. This light moves freely up the spine, moves up into the neck, into the throat. The tongue softens, the lips are warmed, the cheekbones and jaw relax. The jaw is completely relaxed. The ears, nose, and eyes are all filled with the most beautiful light. And the eyelids grow heavy. The temples, the eyebrows, the center of the forehead relax.
Yes, the center of the forehead is completely relaxed, and the entire face becomes expressionless. The sides of the head, the back of the head, and the crown of the head are all filled with light. And the entire body, the entire being is filled with and emanating the most beautiful, warm, healing light. Just be a witness to this light that's in you and around you and with you always. Very gently invite the awareness back to the breath. And take a deep, rich breath in. And slowly exhale. Gently invite the awareness back to the physical body. Eventually rolling all the way over onto the side and just pausing in a curled up fetal position for a moment's rest. Lovingly embracing yourself. And then you can press the hands into the earth and lift the body up to seated, coming to a comfortable seated position. Closing the eyes, checking the posture. And I'll leave you with these words by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who writes, "The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep, loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen." So feel free to unite the palms together in front of the heart or place the hands on the heart with a deep sense of trust in the beauty and strength and resilience of your own dear loving heart. Also bowing to the beauty and strength and resilience of your children's deeply loving hearts and their capacity to touch the pain of life and make it through. In honor of this, we offer ourselves, our children, each other, and all beings everywhere a deep, humble bow and namaste. Namaste. So it's about 10:23, so we'll have about 5 minutes to get some tea, warm blankets, and we'll come back together for a sharing circle soon. See you in a bit.